There is a version of you that existed long before you were born, before your name, before your face, before you ever took a breath. Scientists have spent decades trying to understand why certain people feel pulled toward things they have never experienced, why some fears arrive without a memory attached, and why some skills feel less like learning and more like remembering. The answer is stranger and more profound than most people ever stop to consider.
For most of modern history, scientists believed the human brain was a blank slate at birth. You are born empty, experience fills you in, and the person you become is entirely the product of your choices and your environment. It was a clean theory. It was also incomplete. Studies on identical twins raised apart in completely different countries and families found that these individuals shared not just physical traits, but personality quirks, nervous habits, and irrational fears. They had never met, they had never shared a meal, and yet something essential in them was the same. Some of who you are was already written before you arrived.
The field of epigenetics began revealing why. Genes are not just switches that are permanently on or off. They're more like volume dials, shaped by stress, trauma, joy, and survival. And those settings can be passed down through generations, not through stories, through biology. Studies on descendants of famine survivors found measurable differences in how their bodies regulated hunger and stress hormones, even generations later. The bodies of people who had never experienced scarcity were still operating as though scarcity was coming. You carry the echoes of things you never lived through, and your body has been quietly preparing for a world your ancestors once faced. This means that anxiety some people experience without an obvious cause, that low hum of alertness that never quite turns off, may not be a flaw. It may be an inheritance, a tool sharpened over centuries for a threat that no longer exists in the same form, but that was once the difference between surviving and not. What you sometimes call your weakness may actually be proof of an extraordinary line of survivors behind you. There's a growing body of evidence suggesting that the human brain is not designed primarily to remember the past accurately. It is designed to use the past to predict and prepare for the future. Every memory you have is slightly reconstructed each time you access it. And woven into those reconstructions are layers that come not just from your own life, but from the lives of those who came before you. Indigenous cultures across the world have known something like this for thousands of years. The concept of carrying the wisdom and wounds of those who came before is not mythology. Modern science is now catching up to what these traditions encoded in ceremony and oral history. The idea that you exist in isolation, disconnected from your lineage, is a relatively recent invention, and it may be one of the most disorienting ideas humans have ever adopted. There is something quietly humbling about standing at the end of an unbroken chain of human beings who each managed, against remarkable odds, to survive long enough to pass something forward. Every famine, every migration, every moment of grief or love or desperation that your ancestors moved through, you are the proof that they got through it. That does not make you a passive carrier. It makes you the most recent expression of something much older and much larger than one lifetime. So the next time you feel something you cannot explain, a longing for a place you have never been, a fear with no face, a love that feels ancient, do not be so quick to dismiss it as noise. It may be the clearest signal you have ever received, one that traveled across generations just to reach you. You are not just who you are who they were. And somewhere in that truth, something about the way you see yourself changes permanently.